Hi, welcome to this episode, and today we're going to talk about this great model. And the model is we need to check your corporation. We need to check your corporation because your corporation might be missing an opportunity. My name is Ronnie Calmera, and today we're going to live with the BTC 24 model, and we are explaining corporations. If you are a chief financial officer, if you are a direct report to the CEO, to the board, if you are aspiring to climb into the ladder, on the ladder of your corporation, this might be interesting. We will be taking some examples. It will be a spreadsheet, and it will show you what is possible. Everything I say here is for educational purposes only. Nothing is financial advice. You have to do your own research, and let me just show you right away what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover this Bitcoin model, BTC model, and it is today we're going for the corporations. If you have been looking at these episodes, we have covered already the macroeconomic situation of gold, equity, real estate, bonds, and also we have been covering art, all assets, 900 trillion globally that you can invest in. And today we're going for the corporation. So if you want to look at the other individual situation and the macro situation, check my other episodes above. Today is the corporation. You see here the corporation. I hear you saying, Rooney, what is this Bitcoin model about? This Bitcoin model has been created by Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor is a Bitcoin coin, maybe triple maxi, and he is one of the owners of MicroStrategy. And MicroStrategy is one company that has performed this strategy. The strategy is you are converting cash on your balance sheet and your earnings, everything you can, everything in your cash flow, part of your cash flow, maybe 80% of your cash flow, 10% of your cash flow. Maybe you are going to even have more shares, and then also you can have debt and convert it in Bitcoin. Now I hear you saying right away, isn't that too risky? Of course there is risk in all the strategy, but there is also risk of just putting your money on a bank account or buying anything. What are you buying? Tell me below, what are you buying with your cash? If you are the financial controller of your corporation, if you're giving advice, what are you buying? Are you just buying? Are you putting it on a savings account? Are you buying other bonds? Are you buying other products? Tell me about it. Tell me about what you're buying to keep that wealth. Because with an inflation of 7%, yes, the inflation is 7% because they are printing US dollars at a rate of 7%, right? Check the Federal Reserve website. You will see exactly what the M2 is the money supply of each country, and you will find that with United States. You see that in 2021 it has increased with 40%, and on average it has been growing with 7%. So the right inflation is more about 7%, between 7% to 15%. My inflation might be for sure 15% because I love steak, I love holidays and all those products, luxury, everything you see in the screen. I love in the video I just showed you at the starting of the Island Wealth channel. I love all those things, and all those things are more expensive than 15%. They are increasing. If you want a massage on an island, it's more than 15% increase compared to last year. So that's my point. But let's go. It's not about me, it's about your corporation. So here we will be diving into this into this micro model, because micro is small within a country for a corporation. But let's look first at another corporation that you might know, and that is Tesla. So here I am at finance.yahoo.com, and the quote is Tesla, T-S-L-A, and you see right away I am at the financials, and I have here the income statement. All these numbers. These numbers are in thousands. And why am I showing you Tesla? Because I just want you to start practicing. Maybe you don't want to check this strategy on your income statement, on your balance sheet, on your cash flow statement. That's why I'm giving you the numbers right away, the numbers in this episode, because Island Wealth is about you creating wealth for your business, for your individual, for your family, but also for your corporation. You can be owner, a business owner, you can be a small business owner, you can be a big, working a big business like Tesla, you can be working at Microsoft, at Nvidia, at Shell, everything. Just watch this strategy and just check what has happened with the stock of MicroStrategy. It can happen too with you. Nothing is financial advice, remember, but just check what happened with MicroStrategy's balance sheet and cash and everything when they started buying Bitcoin. And in this model, Bitcoin model 24, you can download it right away. Let me see where you can download it. You can download it. Let me put it in here. You can download the Bitcoin model right away and do all these calculations yourself. You see the Bitcoin model in here. Just look for Bitcoin model, Bitcoin 24 model. It is open source. You can download it and you can do all these calculations side by side with me. Are you in? Are you in for a ride? Let's go back to Tesla. So I'm just giving Tesla as an example because I want you to be able to see that this can be done by public companies. If you are an investor, if you have a private investor and you're buying Tesla stock, you might want to look and try this strategy, put all these numbers into the Bitcoin model. What you would do is take the cash of Tesla, take some other parameters that we're going to dive in soon, and then put those parameters in there in the Bitcoin model and see what would have happened, what would happen potentially with the income statement of Tesla. What would happen with the balance sheet? Let me look at the balance sheet here. I'm clicking on the balance sheet here. What would happen with the balance sheet of Tesla? Let me see, we have the balance sheet here. Right on. So what we do, why am I looking at these numbers? I'm an investor. I'm looking at the numbers of public companies. I'm helping investors, high net worth or high paid individual. I'm helping them understand the real estate, understand the stock equity markets, understand where they can potentially invest. And also Bitcoin is a new asset class. The only asset class that you cannot create more. There is only going to be 21 million Bitcoins ever. Now, imagine 8 billion people, millions of corporations like MicroStrategy that they want to execute this strategy. Imagine more. There are still more people. We also have corporations, we have institutions, we have indebted nations coming up, we have wealthy nations, United States coming up. I will be covering all these different organizations that they can do this. So here you have the numbers of balance sheet of Tesla. How many cash flow? How much cash flow do they have? Let me check this. How much cash do they have? Total assets, current assets. These are in billions. These are in billions. So the current assets are 49.6 billion. That's a lot. And then you have cash. They have 29.1 billion in cash sitting there, probably invested in liquid products so that they can get their share cash. But all this money, if this money is sitting there and inflation is 7%, between 7 to 15%, the real inflation, check what the F happened in 71, and you will see the real inflation numbers there. There is a whole historical analysis. WTF 71, what happened when Nixon said that you cannot get your gold back if you want to deliver, if you give me the dollar, you cannot get your gold back. So this is our cash, and cash equivalents are 16 billion. So they have a lot of cash. Basically, they have 15.9 billion in cash. Isn't that too much? Isn't that too much? They have other cash equivalents, etc. So this is the cash they are having. Now, what is their cash flow? Let me look at the cash flow. Clicking the cash flow, you see operating cash flow 14.5 billion. Then investing cash flow minus 15.9 billion. Then you have financial cash flow 3.7 billion. Cash flow and cash flow position 18.83 billion. So this Tesla is having a lot of cash from their operational business. Look at this. Going down, net income from continuing operations. Yes, 12.7. So they have a lot of cash coming in. Understand? What would happen if they would turn this cash into Bitcoins? Because the strategy is turning your cash into Bitcoin. You're starting with your cash and your cash flow, and you could decide. You have a couple of options. You could have normie, and a normie doesn't invest in Bitcoin. You could have a BTC 10%, then you invest 10% of the cash that you can miss in Bitcoin. You can be a BTC maxi, then you move up to 80%, and then you could be double maxi, triple maxi. Those are other advanced strategies. So what I like about this model. Let me just show you what I like about this model. Let me tell you what I like about this model is I create macroeconomic models myself, global discussion models, simulation models. And I've been studying this model, and it is well organized. It has the data in it. It has data about gold. It has data about the different assets. It has data about historic data, and it has a projection for the future, 21 years in the future. The second thing of a model, when I look at models, is how are the assumptions organized? And this model has some assumptions organized, well organized. Now, let me not talk about this too much, but this is just my background. I am a macroeconomic modeler. I've created 12 macroeconomic models of 12 islands in the Caribbean, Curacao, St. Martin, all the 8 islands of the Eastern Caribbean, Jamaica, and Turks and Caicos. And my ultimate goal, my end goal, is to create a macro model for all the 57 islands in the world. And those islands are big oceans, nations. And of course, for analyzing the impact on the economy of all those islands, because I'm talking with investors, private investors, high net worth individuals, I'm talking with institutions, I'm giving them, explaining how economic processes work, how it impacts their investments. I'm also talking with governments, because the governments want to create strategies, and the strategies are to create the wealth of their nations. Okay, now when you do that, you need all the data organized, you need all the assumptions organized, you need all the future expectations and basically the future behavior. How are these organizations and these parameters going to interact? What I've learned during 30 years is that you need to make your assumptions clear. You need to know exactly what are the levers that you can turn in your model, and then you need to say for sure these are not forecasts and basically we are trying to predict the future. We are just trying to scan the future of possibilities. Run a scenario. With a macro model, you have a better way to go into the future, because you can run different scenarios: the bear scenario, the base scenario, the bull scenario. Bull meaning Bitcoin is going to increase at a 75% rate year over year, and then at a decreasing pace. Base might be 50%, and then bear might be 25%. Now look at the historical graph of Bitcoin. You will see what it has been doing the last 14 years. Now let's go to this spreadsheet, because I talked a lot about the spreadsheet, but let me go to the corporate. What I just said is exactly what you see here. And you can ask questions. I don't see any comments right now. Just ask questions. Put some comments in there so that I can be, if you are on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn cannot post comments to LinkedIn. Okay, so the people on LinkedIn, move to YouTube, move to Facebook, and then on my Facebook channel of Island Wealth, you just go in, you say facebook.com/Island Wealth. On YouTube, my handle is Island Wealth Channel. You can ask questions, and the question coming in, I will answer the questions. So the spreadsheet, what does the spreadsheet? We will go right into the spreadsheet. It's 20 minutes speaking right now. That was just an introduction, but let's now move this. In the blue, you see the things that I have marked, because I want to put your attention on those levers that you can pull today. What is important? Because I think that these are the drivers. So everything yellow are assumptions. And when you are here, when you can select here the maxi, you can select actually the maxi strategy, or the 10% strategy, or the normie. So how you would start is by putting in your information here of your company, fill that in, then put all your information here also about your debt in millions, debt percentage cost, how much does your debt cost, right? The cash, how much cash do you have in millions, how much market cap is calculated automatically. You don't have to do that if you put all these things in. So if you don't have any starting BTC, just as a company, as a corporation, just put 0 in there. Then you have the income tax. If you are in United States, maybe they're going to put this to increase this income tax, or this dividend tax. So there is a scenario we can run. You're in the United States, your Tesla, and bang, the next president increases the dividend tax to 90% or to 50%. then you can see exactly what you are doing. Maybe you want to move your headquarters to Curacao. Curacao is a part of the kingdom of the Dutch kingdom. The Dutch king is basically our head of state. Not basically, he is a head of state. We also have a governor, the tax and income. So you might want to move to Curacao because we might have a lower tax. I think we have a tax of 15%, profit tax for sure. And there are some corporations that you can get your dividend out for free because we have all kinds of corporations here, and it's safe. There are many headquarters of many corporations here. So look at this. You fill that in. I might want to automate this because I'm also working with Python and data science. I have a course coming up, a program coming up of 8 weeks in mid-January. If you want to automate these kind of things, if you are an investor, private investor, if you have a stocks portfolio and you want to run this scenario for not only Tesla but maybe for 100 companies, then you need to be able to enter this data automatically. You need to be downloading this data automatically from Yahoo Finance and not typing it in manually like everybody else, but you want a Python program, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, LMM model to comment and to do whatever we are doing today. All right? So you want to do this faster, just stay till the end and I will show you where you can get into the VIP launch to hear more about that new experience, the new experience launch in January, which is Python Island Wealth Management. And also, probably in January, we are also launching our Island Wealth Investment Academy. That's a 3-day program that you are diving in and increasing your wealth. Okay, that is for the sponsors of this, myself, my only. By looking at that, you will join our community of Island Wealth Creators. Now look at this. Look at this. This is a normie. The normie doesn't convert anything to BTC. Doesn't convert any treasury to BTC. The normie doesn't have any cash flow invested. The equity issued, that's another part of the strategy. You issue equity so that you can, that when you get that cash, you will put that money into BTC. That's basically what Michael Saylor has also done. You understand? That's a double maxi. So the double maxi, compared to the normie, the double maxi will issue 5% of equity. That's equity dilution, because if you're issuing more equity, that means that you are basically printing your equity. Just like they are printing dollars, now you're printing equity. You understand? If I am buying an equity of you, I'm a buyer of equity, I have 1% of equity, total equity, stock, and now you issued 5% more. Basically, you are diluting my shares with 5%. Think about that. It's just like the Federal Reserve is printing 40% of money in 2021 during COVID. Everybody holding dollars is diluted. Imagine you playing Monopoly and the bank is just printing from, first we have $1,000 on the board, and now the bank just printed $1 million on the board. Everybody who has cash in their money, cash in their hands, is diluted. So this is the dilution of stocks. Then we have something called BTC NAV premium. That's not focused on that. And then the debt issued. So the BTC NAV premium in the double maxi, you see that's 25%, and the triple maxi goes to 45%. And then you have debt. So what is happening is the triple maxi will actually do all this stuff, and the triple maxi will also issue debt and convert that debt into BTC. The triple maxi actually shorting debt because they believe that debt is not good to hold, and they're shorting debt and investing the debt into an asset that is scarce, that cannot be printed more than 21 million. You understand? Nobody can increase the Bitcoin total market cap, not market cap, amount by 45 million. It is fixed in the code, 21 million. Right now we already have 19 million of BTC that has been mined. Every 10 minutes, miners are competing, and miners are computers all over the world. They all run the same Bitcoin mining code, and they are validating. There are also people validating, but they are contributing and saying what is the truth. What is the truth about the state of the Bitcoin? How many Bitcoins do we have right now? And the one who solves a puzzle wins that block, and then when they win that block, they win the Bitcoin that has been produced in that block. And the Bitcoins went from 50 to 25. You can only win 25 Bitcoins in every 10 minutes, then to 12 and a half, and then to 6.25. Yes, and then it's going down to 3.125. So it's going hyperbolic, but to a max of 21 million. That's it. That's the whole thing. So what do you do here? The BTC, 10%. How does this work? So you have this cash flow on top, and the cash flow and the cash flow growth is 100. So imagine you have a cash flow of 100 million, and then you're growing 5% per year, and then from that 5%, from that 100 million, you have a strategy as a normie that you say, I don't buy any Bitcoin. That means that we can then go here, and we see, because we selected here the normie strategy. Remember, the strategy is your option to choose, and the BTC case is we are in the bearish BTC. And just to show you what BTC bearish means, BTC bearish, we already did this, is it's growing for 25%, and it's decreasing with 0.5% every year, and then it's becoming stable, 80 million. The BTC 21 model is actually 21 years going into the future, starting from 2024 to 2045. When did BTC start? About 2009, January, I think 2010, it started, and then somebody put the code out there, and then there was no price, and then suddenly at Bitcoin Pizza Day, we got a price of Bitcoin, and you see this price has skyrocketed. This is not the price, this is the projection based on this growth. And you can check yourself online what has been the growth year over year. This is the bearish case. And if you put the base case, it's 50%, and if you put the bull case, you see here it's 75%. So if you click here in the corporate model, you kicked the bearish case or the bearish or the base case, then you're saying these are possible, the assumptions of Bitcoin, what is going to grow, the growth rate of Bitcoin for the next 21 years. And then inside there you have your own strategy, and you pull that lever here. So first you think about this scenario with the macro environment, basically. You're thinking the macro environment, and if you want to look at the macro environment, just go here and I look at the complete macroeconomic environment of all the assets that compete with Bitcoin, or all the assets that people invest their money in. You as a financial controller, as a treasurer, as the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, did you know, just tell me, did you know that there are 900 trillion in capital market cap in the world in 2024? Did you know that? Do you understand what will happen if that grows to maybe 28 trillion? The value of money, the value of your currency compared to the value of the BTC, the units will change. And on your balance sheet, that's what we're covering right now. I'm just giving you the global perspective, and I'm giving you what is happening in the world, and you can ask questions. I'm giving you the numbers that we just saw, that cash flow Tesla has about 14 billion operating cash flow. That 14 billion is just numbers, digits they can print. And I suggest you might just want to look at the other things here where you can put your corporate energy, monetary energy in, because everybody in your corporate is working. The owners of the corporate, they have different options to put their basically the energy in. And why am I saying energy? Imagine all those people working hard, 8 hours per day, 40 hours per day. You might be working 70 hours per week, and you want to hold the fruits of those 70 hours you worked. And then you store the fruits, you store them in the thing we call fiat currency, which is the US dollars. And you want to pass that to your kids in about 21 years, right? That is called wealth transfer. When we die, we pass the villa, we pass the money, we pass the fiat currency, we pass maybe the gold, we pass even the Bitcoin to the next generation. Okay? So now fiat currency, the dollar, it's known that the dollar cannot hold its value. The dollar leaks. The $100 from today is not the $100 that my father gave me 40 years ago. It looks like the same, but it cannot buy the same. Why is that? Because it's leaked. The 8 hours of work for my father 40 years ago to earn $100, I am not getting that 8 hours. Maybe I'm getting only 2 hours, because the $100 did not pass through the time machine. So I'm just giving you here for the broader perspective, and then we move back. So this normie doesn't invest. So that's why you see here that the normie doesn't have any Bitcoin. You see 24, 25, 2030, 2035, it doesn't have any Bitcoin. And you also see here that while the BTC compounded average growth rate is 20%, and this information is coming from the BTC model. This is just an assumption giving the bear case. It's not going to happen. It's going to fluctuate like this. This is just a potential trend. So if you assume this, if you think this is, then the compounded average growth rate is going to be 20%. Now tell me, where do you get 20% year over year over year? What on your balance sheet gives you year over year? What on your earnings income statement gives you 20% every year? Which company can grow 20% every year? Name one of the top 500 companies in the S&P index that grows. I know one. Nvidia. So you see here that the whole balance sheet is built. I will not go deep into that, but I want to just show you that there is cash. The cash stays the same. The debt, there is a debt, it stays also the same because there is no additional debt. There is cash is not used to buy BTC, so the cash stays there. And then you would want to see the market cap. You see the market valuations, market cap, everything is calculated here. So I think this model is good. I want to ask you, suggest you to look at all these formulas so that you can build this model yourself. I'm looking at, when I'm looking at these kind of formula, let me just show you, I'm clicking here and I'm looking at formulas, trace precedence. So then I know this 850 is based on the market value minus debt. Okay, I know that is good. That's a good calculation. Then I'm going to look at his debt and I'm going to say again trace precedence, because I've been building these kind of models all over the place. So I know when I talk to my private investors, the high net worth individuals or high paid individuals, they want to invest, starting investors, they want to look at this and they want to understand like how is this debt calculated. Then we use these kind of ways to show them that the debt is actually closing debt. You see? So this formula of debt is it's picked up here. You see the cash flow, all these things, the debt issued. I mark these things because the cash flow you bring in for your corporation, the debt issued, the cash flow to equity, the equity issued, they will show up here constantly. Okay? They will show up here. You see the normie doesn't have anything. No debt, no nothing. Okay? That's why they don't have Bitcoin, and that's why basically they have, let me see, the normie is there. Okay, I see the model here. Sometimes the model does something, you have to check that because the calculations are not running correctly. So what I would encourage you is to check sometimes the Excel properties, preferences, and then check the calculation to see, make sure that it is iterative calculation, because there are some circular references, which is A depends on B and B depends on A. Okay? That's why sometimes you don't see that. Now, if I move to BTC 10%, that means that the treasury is converted to 10%. 10% of the treasury is converted to BTC. And the cash flow invested in BTC is also 10%. So when you go to normie, from normie to BTC 10%, I'm not changing it right now because I want you to go down and then see here that the BTC count is 0 to understand the model. And I also want you to show you here that there is, you know, what has happened with the cash flow. Cash flow, what is happening with this cash flow to equity? What's happening to cash flow to BTC? You see, there is no cash flow to BTC here. But when you change this, then the strategy will start. So let's change this. Let's move this. First we see here the BTC count. I'm changing this to 10%. Boom. When you change this to 10%, hey, that's a lot. Is that possible? Do we believe this? Yeah, do we believe this? We're still in the bear case. So never trust the model, just check for yourself, reason like I'm reasoning right now. Is this possible? You understand? Is this possible? Okay. You should be able to calculate one of these things yourself. Right? So what I want to see here is that they have, I want to see something like cash. Debt issues. Okay. This one doesn't have any cash. You see here that this cash flow has changed. You see? Because now, look at this. Look at this 81 million. And look at, I'm turning it up to the normie again. And actually it should have changed. I would say, let me see. So I'm testing these kind of things. Okay, that's the 8 million, sorry. Normie, 0. So what I'm doing here is I'm testing the model before I go to, for instance, like you, to your CFO, before I go to the board with this, I need to test this in our situation. Make sure that the model works, that I understand the model. So when you move from normie to BTC 10%, you see here that it is picking up and I'm putting cash flow into BTC. So basically I'm putting 8 million in BTC, 9 million BTC, but 11 million. But if the price goes, then with the 8 million I can buy right now more BTC. And with the 9 million, if the price increases because it's bearish, I can buy less BTC. That's why there are many people right now who think before all the pension funds in the world, before other companies, corporations come in and chase for the 21 million, and there are already 90 million mined. So basically it's a game for the 19 million of existing BTC. How much gold is there? You don't know how much gold there is. I have a spreadsheet of gold I will just be showing you because I found it today. But how much gold there is, we don't know. But how much BTC there is, we can all watch the blockchain and verify. That's the power of it. The blockchain is open source, it's open. Everybody can check their BTC and check the total number of BTC if they moved or not. You don't check who got it because there is no name and email there, but you can look at the public addresses and check how much BTC moved today. How much BTC did the miners get today? So this is the situation where you will buy the BTC. So probably you will see here that they bought, okay, 201 BTC. How is it calculated again? You see here, we don't believe anything. This is calculated as 65, that's the price. And the other parameter that is being used is the BTC bought. Okay. So the price and the volume. Okay? 13 BTC bought actually. 13 BTC bought. 9 BTC bought. Okay. So that might be good. So that is the BTC purchased and BTC bought. Okay. Now, if I turn into from 10%, I turn into an 80. Oh, I wanted to say that of course this is going to decrease because you cannot buy more BTC even if you put 10% constantly in, you cannot buy more BTC if the price is increasing. So it's potentially the price will increase. You have a scarce commodity, a scarce asset, and the price is increasing, there cannot be more demand, more supply created, and the world might potentially demand it. And there are more corporations demanding it, stepping in. That is the situation. Why would they want to put this asset on their balance sheet? Because it is scarce, because in dollar terms the price can potentially go up. It can also go down. Some people believe it can go to zero, but it can also go up. And while the world is having a money printing machine all over, in Europe, in the United States, in Japan, money printing, the debt to GDP of Japan, the debt divided by their total income is more than 200%. Of United States is 120%. You got Argentina, you got Venezuela, totally collapsed. Libya, Zimbabwe, totally collapsed currencies. In that world, people want to move to gold, to scarce assets, to art. We have seen that in the previous episodes, and they also want to move to the new Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is digitally movable, so it has more properties, better properties than gold, because you can program Bitcoin, you can move it with the wallet. I can create an artificial intelligence agent called Lara, and Lara has $100 of sats, that's a piece of Bitcoin, in her wallet. And I can tell, well, Lara, please buy a book for me. Buy a book for me every month, and you are allowed to buy a book for $5. Now Lara will go to any website, interface with an API, and spend that book for me. You understand the world we're living? So how can I do that with gold? I cannot give Lara some grams of gold and tell Lara, please buy a book for me with a gram of gold. So I can, while I can give Laura, I can give Laura $100 in sats. One Bitcoin is 100 million sats. I can give Laura $100 in sats in a wallet, do certain things, and Laura will wake up every day and then do that thing because I have programmed Laura myself, right? How can I do that with 100 grams of gold or whatever grams of gold? I'm not saying $100 is 100 grams of gold, but you just understand. How can Lara travel on the internet with her wallet of gold? So Peter Schiff, the gold box, this is for you. This is the new digital wave and the new opportunities. And what I believe is this is just a side thing. What I believe is that Nvidia, the stock of Nvidia, of corporation Nvidia, let me look at Nvidia. That stock is going up. That stock is going up. Why? Because it's driven by these kind of things. So let me just look at Nvidia. You see here, Nvidia Corporation. I'm looking at the stock of Nvidia, and I'm saying, like, what is the stock of Nvidia doing during the last year? Boom, going up, going up during the last 6 months. Look at that. So Nvidia Max, let me get Max. Nvidia is going exponential because Nvidia is driven by the artificial intelligence wave, and everybody needs to have a chip to run these artificial intelligence large language models. ChatGPT is nothing more than a software program, maybe let's say 300 gigabyte. It is downloaded, and what is it? It contains billions and billions of indicators. Imagine a row of 1 billion, a matrix of 1 billion indicators, and all those indicators are running with each other, and that is ChatGPT. Neural networks, all the stuff. Now NVIDIA is benefiting because everybody is using ChatGPT, and basically the large language models. They are disrupting corporations. Your corporation will also be disrupted by ChatGPT. My business will also be disrupted. I'm in the training investment business, creating experiences, online experiences, creating an online training, a wealth training, moving people's mind. But I'm using ChatGPT to disrupt my business. So what am I telling you? I'm telling you that these things are related. That one, NVIDIA is growing because people are expecting large language models to run. The second thing is the large language models like ChatGPT and the local models, they will have a wallet. How will they interact with each other? Not with Ethereum. They will interact with each other by sending value, which is sats. They can send like 10 cents, 1 cent. And that's why Bitcoin is scarce, and Bitcoin can also be used for those transactions. So I'm linking ChatGPT, large language models, NVIDIA to Bitcoin. I'm linking them together. Do you see the business case? Okay. So let me move now to the Maxi strategy. So the Maxi is growing 80% and 80% cash flow. So what we would expect is that this count of BTC needs to grow. You see here? Boom, boom, boom. 0.2. 0.2. This is the BTC number. And then this is the value. And then at the end, if you look at the right, you will see this whole model, the assets, debt, net asset, BTC. So you can be running this, importing this into Python, and then showing this on a presentation to your board. Are you going to do that? If you are going to do that, let me go back to the spreadsheet. I just showed you this, and I showed you the right. Are you going to do that? Are you going to these numbers? You can import this into Python, making a nice graph of your own, running this simulation for your business. If you have a stock portfolio, you can be. What if these 20 companies, corporations in this portfolio? Let me make it more specific. There are 50 companies in the Caribbean, public companies that are earning money in the Caribbean. For instance, Hilton Hotels, Royal Caribbean Cruises, Shell, Exxon. Even in Suriname, you have Total Energy. I think it's a French energy company. So these companies, the food corporations, Louis Vuitton is also in the Caribbean. So I can list 50 companies in the Caribbean that are driven by the Caribbean wealth. Why am I talking about the Caribbean? Because Curacao, the island where I live, is from the Caribbean. And imagine those 50 companies, we can pull them into a list, and we can say, get all the balance sheet or income statements, get all the cash flow, boom, put it in Python, and then run this Bitcoin Maxi, BTC 10%, BTC Maxi strategy for them. Boom. That's how people run it. And then they invest. And the moment they hear Microsoft is also thinking about this Bitcoin strategy, there are already people who have created these equity models specific for micro strategy, no, for Microsoft, and they are running all these numbers already. And when you see that Microsoft is also having this same strategy as MicroStrategy, then you know for sure that people are making money. So I'm not saying that you should do that as a financial officer, as a CFO, direct report to the board, but I'm just asking you, what are you going to do on this Monday? Are you going to continue working 70 hours this week, or are you going to invest your time and looking at this and saying, okay, Ronnie, this is bullshit what you're doing. This is impossible. This is impossible. Just challenge me and tell me this is impossible. Bitcoin is rat poison, and rat poison, like Charlie Munger, rest in peace. Bitcoin is rat poison, but after January, BlackRock, who owns most of the companies in the world, who has a share of all the companies in the world, BlackRock is not thinking that it is rat poison. Larry Flink of BlackRock changed completely. And then you see companies like MicroStrategy, they are doing this, and they are showing the results. So now let me just go to the Bitcoin Maxi. So the Bitcoin Maxi means that we will basically, let me see here, Bitcoin Maxi is we are putting 80% in. We are not doing anything with that yet. So what I expect to see here is the cash flow. I expect to have more Bitcoin. More Bitcoin. Okay? They can get more Bitcoin than only this amount. So if I change this into, we go below, and I'm changing it to Maxi. So Maxi means instead of 10%, 80%. You see that? Instead of 10%, 80%. So you see that the BTC purchased here, the cash flow BTC purchased, it goes up. Okay, it goes up significantly. Boom. From 8 to 64. 8 to 64. So the max is going 8 times. It's 8 times harder in. The maxi is just speeding up. I want to buy more. That's what the maxi is saying. The maxi has a strategy that says, I'm not going to convert only 10%. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? I'm going to see exactly what MicroStrategy did, and I'm going to be the first one. Is your corporation going to be a Bitcoin Maxi? Boom, 80% in. Of course, you have to check the treatment of financial advice, how you're going to balance this, how you are going to, treat those assets, value those assets on your balance sheets. I think there is some information in there that you can get. Maybe you want to look at MicroStrategy and find out how he did it. He has documented it probably. So that's the strategy. He's executing this strategy right now. He has a public company, MicroStrategy of Michael Saylor. So this strategy is working, and it is possible for public companies. If you have a public company, then maybe talk to me. Let's create a project. Let's bring 15 plus people in a project, and let's discuss this. I also am able to show you, if you are in different markets, I can give you information about different markets with my magic graph. We can dive into Brazil, into different sectors, BRICS. If you are a BRICS company in the BRICS, Saudi Arabia, China. If you are a company in India, in South Africa, in one of the 130 countries associated with the BRICS, contact me. We can do some south to south, because Curacao is also part of the south. And we are open for business with you. That's the maxi strategy. Now let's do the double maxi. The double maxi is actually going 100%. So this is going completely, putting all your cash in Bitcoin. I think that is the strategy. And then also issuing more equity, and then doing something here, 25%. So I have to study into here. I'm just studying this. I will come back into this. And to do that, I will just put a note in there. And I will say, study this parameter. What does it mean? What does it mean? Now, this Bitcoin model, 21 model, has just been created. I think it's not more than 1 month old. So you see, we are already diving into it, and I'm already, that's why I'm putting all this information in here, because if I'm into modeling the world, modeling islands, modeling economic wealth, modeling how wealth can be created in tourism-based economies, service economies, I'm also planning on creating a United States quarterly and annual model where we can put this into this, and this model is just based on the same structure that my mentor Dr. Marijn from Schaik taught me to produce 30 years ago. So these are special macroeconomic models running for small islands, but they can also run for Namibia, they can run for Saudi Arabia, China, and United States. And I want to create my first large model for the United States, because United States is also very, very important. If you want to sponsor that model, just contact me on LinkedIn, contact me with a good proposal. The people sponsoring that model will have intimate VIP treatment, because you will be the first one to be able to work with that model, United States model, and it will just be a spreadsheet model, and we will have some great things. So I'm looking for 50 founders of the USA model, and the 50 sponsors. If you want to be there, that means that you will be having, I think it will be at least let's say 16-week experience, where you will on a weekly basis be updated on the USA model. But you have to invest, because I will be using my team to create that step by step for you. And then later on, of course, that model I want to open source it. So you need to be qualified to become a sponsor, because the founder and sponsors need to commit that, just like this Bitcoin 24 model, that they want to open source the United States model. We don't want to create something that only 50 people can use. You will have the advantage if you are the first one to participate. You will have lifetime advantage if you want to become the USA, let's call it the USA 24 model. Probably it will be 25, USA 24 model. I will call it right now the USA 24 model, because it is linked to this this 24 model. Okay, it's not this model of the United States here. It is all the indicators of the United States. Okay, so join me. Click below, link below. There will be a link below here if you are especially interested in the USA 24 model, the open source model, to contribute to that. 50 people all over the world. And if you are from Saudi Arabia, if you are from China, if you are from South Africa, if you are from the BRICS, Brazil, you want to invest in that model. You want to be there, one of the 50. Right, so Maxi, what is this Maxi? You see here, we're buying more. You see here what I expect. We're buying equity. We need to have something like, I would expect the equity issued to go up. Right? BTC Max, no, BTC Maxi, no equity issues. And if you go to double Maxi, now I would expect something to happen with the equity. So why am I going this step by step? You see, equity issued. So now we issue equity. It's called equity or equity. Yes, equity. So we're issuing equity and we're converting that into Bitcoin. We can buy more Bitcoin. We can buy more Bitcoin. You see this thing, equity issued. That's why I turned it into blue. It's turning boom. But we have no debt issued. So the double maxi is equity. Okay? And 100% cash. And that's why they can have more BTC purchased. So look at this, 2.7 compared to the maxi. You see? 2.7 compared to the maxi. So the double maxi goes in 100%. Double maxi goes in 100%. And instead of, so basically the double maxi is convicted. I'm just asking this 100%. This is a question for Michael Saylor. This double maxi, will they buy stocks? So new note here is the double maxi buying stocks. Yes, and the question is related to, because they're going 100%, they're using all their cash to do something else. The cash is not stored. Is the double maxi buying bonds? So new bonds, do they have, or are they liquidating their bonds? What are they doing with their bonds? We could potentially check this ourselves. So I'm a double maxi. I started with bonds. Let me see. Probably, you see here, I've started with bonds. Share, market cap, assets, debt. Okay, zero debt. So they're doing something with the debt. They're doing something with, basically they have debt, 200 million. So I have to check that thing, but discussing this with you here shows me exactly what they are doing. Okay, trying to understand this. I'm not pretending that I know everything about this. Triple maxi goes in equity and then goes all in and does something extra here. BTC NAF. So the triple maxi. So Michael Saylor, if you're looking at this, what does this triple maxi do? We might need to write a story, Michael. Probably you will not listen to me, but the people below Michael are working with this model. We need to create a story where we exactly show what the double maxi does, and this story needs to be focused on the financial and the treasurer, the CFO, etc., step by step. And what I would also, so I would like to say, like, when are you able to do this? So a couple of questions. When are you able to do this, and why are you doing this? So I would say here, new note. what is this? When are you doing? You able to do this? So like the minimum, what do you need to do that? And BTC NAV premium, it tells me something. Let me say, BTC NAV premium. Premium ascribed to the BTC NAV. What is a NAV? BTC plus cash minus debt. Okay, net asset value. I think it is net asset value. So you have the BTC, you have the cash, and then you take away the debt because you have, I can understand this, you have taken debt to buy BTC. So if this premium BTC plus cash is higher than the debt, is market cap minus market value of operations divided by market value of cash. So we need to understand, this is technical, but we need to understand this. Let me say, we need to have a story for the CFO and financial controller explaining what this is. So I'm just contributing here to this BTC, to this BTC model. So they created a great model, and I'm not pretending that I know all this, but I'm just pretending to say, okay guys, let us improve this. I'm going to do this for sure. Okay, so that is what I believe. Show note. All right, so this is a strategy. So let me know, what do you think of this strategy? What do you think of this strategy of going all maxi in? And what would happen if you go triple maxi? Yes, you go triple maxi, your BTC count is your compounded average growth rate is 15%. Your adjusted share is going up. So look at what they're doing actually. They are projecting the share. The share price is 109. I don't know if it's under 9 billion or whatever. This is the share price here. So we need to make this is the number of shares, the share price, probably this is the share price, and it's going up. This is in dollars. So they are even projecting the share price. That is very interesting. That is very interesting. Because they are telling you here, or trying to explain, that if you add Bitcoin to your balance sheet, if you add Bitcoin by having debt, by issuing equity and debt, that will impact your share price. And impacting your share price impacts your market cap. Alright? That's your market cap in there, in millions. So your market cap goes from 977 million to 237. That's a lot. Billion. That's a lot. So what would be interesting is to check this whole strategy and then test what has happened in the past. Because I could have this Bitcoin strategy in 2024, but I could go historically and create this Bitcoin this Bitcoin model extended towards the past. And if you extend it towards the past, you get real data, and when you get real data, I would expect to see MicroStrategy. If MicroStrategy did started this like in 2020, 2021, the strategy, we should be able to confirm that this model also works for MicroStrategy. Did this happen with the share price of MicroStrategy? So, but that is another episode. All right, so now I'm going to close this because we already have 1 hour and 50 minutes. We are working, but before that, let me go to the Chrome and let me go to MicroStrategy. Let me see. MSTR, MicroStrategy. That's the one. Look at the stock. So this is MicroStrategy, NASDAQ. I think that it's this. Year to date, boom, going up. Was 132, going to 290. So 130, almost doubling. Almost doubling. Let's look at them. 5 years. So they were basically flat. You see that? They were $11 here. If this is MicroStrategy, tell me. Then they went to 62. They were flat again. So it's basically flat, flat, flat across the year. And then suddenly, in a couple of years, where are we? Boom, it's going up. It started to go up. So I want to look at this chart more bigger. So the MicroStrategy started to, where's MicroStrategy? That's the blue one. MicroStrategy. Let me take away NVIDIA and I take away the gold, and I'm just going for MicroStrategy. Is this MicroStrategy? Yes. So MicroStrategy started and grew considerable. Let me give them an applause. I'm giving them an applause because this is great. Okay? I think this is it. So basically looking at a company who has been not growing, let me see, 5 years, who was not growing at all. I need to increase this a little bit there so that you see it. So the company was not doing anything. If you look at the max, you can verify this yourself. They had a peak at the beginning, and then they were doing nothing. So probably this peak in 2000 something was according to the hype around digital, about Enron, everything, had all the companies in the software, because Michael Saylor created a book called The Mobile Wave, and all these companies, he predicted actually the mobile wave, or he discussed that. He was one of the first one to tell about the digitization of everything, of the Amazon, of the telecommunication, of the WhatsApp. Now he's predicting the digitization, okay, English is not my normal language. So digitize the money value. I think he might be right. So there's nothing happening here, and then suddenly in the last 5 years, boom, in 2021, I think he started in 2021, and then suddenly this thing goes up. You see that? Boom. It goes up from where? It goes up from basically 36. Yeah, no, it goes up for around, let me see, around, look at that, 12 to boom, 62, then 6x, then it drops. This is of course COVID, everything was closed, so it drops to 40, it loses 20%, then it goes again up to 70 after COVID, boom, going, and then it drops, and now here the ETFs and everything coming in, so it's going up. This means that this strategy at least works for MicroStrategy. It works for MicroStrategy. I'm glad for MicroStrategy, and we can also look at the MicroStrategy's financials. You see here, we can look at their, this is just an example. I want you to just look at the balance sheet of MicroStrategy, and I want you to look at the income statement and the cash flow statement of MicroStrategy, and just analyze that MicroStrategy did actually do this strategy, and starting from, let's say, 2020 till 2023, did they do this? Did they do this? How are they executing this with their balance sheet? So you should be looking at the balance sheet of MicroStrategy and then seeing that they are executing this exact double maxi, triple maxi. Now, if you want to analyze that, you probably will just go hand by hand, downloading this spreadsheet and checking this, and you will be making some calculations. But how I would do it, how I will do it, is actually downloading this automatically in Python, downloading it, creating a Python notebook, calculation sheet, running that, and Python is a programming language. And then once I have created it for MicroStrategy with this Bitcoin BTC model, I want to test if they are doing it. Two things I want to test. I want to test if they are doing it. Can I look at their balance sheet, at their cash flow statement, and their income statement? And Michael Saylor, please show me with your Yahoo statement that you are executing this. Walk me through the numbers so that I know that you are doing a double maxi and triple maxi. Okay? And the second thing is, I want to know what are the parameters I need to get from Yahoo Finance to be able to plug into BTC 24 model so that I can populate the corporation sheet. Now that is an assignment, and that assignment, once you have that, you can run that for all the companies in the world on Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance is not the only one I'm using. I'm using also Simply Wall Street. Hi to the people from Simply Wall Street. You can sponsor this show, and we will talk more about Simply Wall Street. So this is actually working. So I'm going now to stop because 1.5 hours, I took 1.5 hours. I gave you 1.5 hours of my time. And now I want to end this thing, this episode. So why am I ending? Okay, before I end, sorry, I have some bonus for you. And the bonus is this spreadsheet, the quarterly gold and FX foreign exchange reserves. So what am I doing there? I want to show you this. This is a disclaimer. This spreadsheet, you can download it from the World Gold Council. And this is not my spreadsheet. They are organizing the gold in the world, etc. Why did I download this? Because we have been talking about gold, about the 13 trillion market cap of gold. We have been talking about that. We have been talking about it in a previous episode. So today, Clive Thompson, one of my ex-students of the Python Island Wealth Management show, thank you, Clive, if you're listening to this. He told me that we might need to look at the gold, and this is not financial advice. It's only for educational purposes. But I just downloaded this data. It is from the World Gold Council, yes, and that's the source. You can download that. Here you see the gold in tons. So when I'm looking this, why am I looking at this? I'm looking at this because I want to look at the gold of all those countries in the world to build my case that the BRICS countries have been collecting gold. Okay, the central banks, they collect gold. They don't invest yet in the Bitcoin. El Salvador is investing in Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin. I think Bhutan, we also have a Bhutan model. Bhutan has how to get basically happiness GDP. Happiness. Bhutan is very advanced and not only monitoring the gross domestic product, but also the happiness index. Because we also have we have created a model of Bhutan. This macro model. So Bhutan, if you want to have any connection with me, you are South, please contact me. Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Economic Development. You have been working with Dr. Marijn from Schaik, so you can contact me. Look at this. This is Albania. This is the list of countries and how much gold they per quarter they have. The tons of gold. Now what I first want to look at is my country, Curacao. Because people in Curacao, at the Central Bank of Curacao and St. Martin, they sold gold. I mean, these people are not listening to me, apparently, while I'm living on Curacao. I'm a nobody, guys. I'm just studying the macroeconomic models in the world, the global economic asset, and I'm just assuming what is going to happen for my clients, for investors, etc. Look at this. Curacao, they had 13.1 tons of gold. And here you see, if you trace, this is the column that I created. Remember, these columns I created these, and this is the data source. So Curacao and St. Martin, they sold. How much did they sell? Trace precedence. They sold 3.9 tons of gold. All the political parties going to the next elections. I'm going to say this. Our nations of Curacao and St. Martin, we sold 3.9 tons of gold. Boom. So that's why we are here in the minus. This change is from Q4 23 to Q1 24. Okay? So you see here Q1 24, Q4. It's quarterly. Boom. So while we are talking about the BRICS accumulating gold, about the printing of the money in the world, about how the US dollar is connected to the Dutch guilder, Dutch Antillean guilders. $1 is 178. About corporations investing in Bitcoin, this episode. About scarce assets, hard assets, our central bank sold 1/3 of our gold. Sorry, guys. Shall we say a prayer? No. For these people. Good. How much is 3.9 tons of gold? I have here 1 ton is 32,000 ounces. This is the price of gold, 1 ounce of gold in euros. And this is a calculation that you see. This is a calculation that you see that the revenues is 31 million. So there is 31 million because if you divide this by 1 million, you got 31 million. So we got 31 million. We got 31 million by selling 1/3 of our gold. So imagine we sell another third. Now we only have 1/3, and our economy is the corporations in our economy, they move to the Bitcoin standard. You see? So the corporations, they are putting hard assets. Hard assets is a scarce asset on their balance sheet. And the central bank should also put hard assets on their balance sheets. And the United's bonds, it's not a hard asset. It is supposed to be a hard asset for if you are living in Latin America and Zimbabwe, you want to grab anything which is better than the Zimbabwean dollar. If you are in Venezuela, you want to grab anything that is better than the Venezuelan peso, Argentinian peso, whatever, Lebanese, Turkish lira. You want to grab the dollar, but the dollar and the bonds are basically a derivative of the dollar. Because with the bonds you will get dollars. Okay? Why am I rambling about this? Is because somebody needs to explain to me why that was done. Of course, that will have to do with the pension fund. I'm not criticizing anything, but I think we are weakening our currency by selling our gold. Because we bought bonds and now we're going to get some returns, but those returns will be in dollars. We will save the pension fund, okay, but I'd rather have my gold, my money backed by gold. This is also an interesting question for the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union at that central bank. Are you going to sell your gold? So then I can advise my private investors and my high-paid individuals, high-earning individuals in the Eastern Caribbean, all those 8 countries in the Eastern Caribbean. I can advise them accordingly. And this is not advice. I can give them some educational perspectives and entertain them what might happen with the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union dollar. Okay, so that's it. So once I check this, I realize, okay, this spreadsheet might be okay. Then what did I do? Then I just walked through this. Why am I doing this? Because I am building the business case that gold, that the 130 plus countries of the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and all those 130 countries. Look at one of the previous episodes where I dived into the BRICS, because the Caribbean can also do business with the BRICS. Corporations in the Caribbean having a strategic BTC strategy, treasury strategy, you can do business with the BRICS. And I think if you are doing business with the BRICS, MicroStrategy doing business with the BRICS will understand the value of putting BTC on your balance sheet. the BRICS are doing it with gold. That's why I'm moving you to gold. Because it is related that the companies in the world and the governments in the world, they are seeking for hard assets. So going out, scoping out again, not anymore on the corporations, but ending this episode with an extra on gold. Why would you think that countries are accumulating gold? Why in this world? Why are they dumping their money and their bonds and they're accumulating gold? Why would that happen? Now, which countries are doing it? And which countries are selling and which are buying? So what I did is I went back and I said, this is not only this quarter, but I look at this. I looked at this formula. So every time you see this formula, don't believe my numbers. Validate yourself. Think for yourself. And then go with my story. So I went back and I said, quarter 1, 2024. Quarter 1, 2024. And then, let me see, am I doing the spreadsheet still? Yes. And then I took off, let me see, spreadsheet, I'm in the spreadsheet. Yes, I'm in the spreadsheet. So I took the Q1 2010. So Q1 2010. So what was the gold they had in Q1 2010, and what was the gold they had in, let me say, Q1 2004. So during 14 years, and why did I choose Q1 2010? Because then Bitcoin was basically trading already. Probably. It just started. Understand? So in this period of Bitcoin, the 2010 till 2024, giving credit to the BTC 24 model, what happened with gold? Okay, red means decrease, green means increase. So the Bank of International Settlement sold 291 tons of gold. The Belarus, probably associated with the BRICS, plus 30 tons of gold. Brazil, plus 96 tons of gold. So I have made everything above 20 tons. I have made that green or red. Green means buy. So Brazil is accumulating the last 10 years, last 14 years, 96 tons, and probably maybe Brazil bought from our central bank. Brazil said, yes, come here with that gold, I like it. Maybe Brazil, I don't know who bought. Cambodia, developing country, 29.4 tons of gold. Probably to stabilize their currency. Look at this, China, 1.2 million tons of gold. So probably you would see that China dumped the same amount of treasury, US treasury. This is significant, my friend. Not my friend, my people. Look at this, Czech Republic, 2.22 million. No, 22 tons. Sorry, 22 tons. Egypt, another country, 50 tons. Europe doesn't want oil. No, doesn't want gold. Europe dumped 27. So why would the European Central Bank dump their gold? Why would they do that? Why would they sell their gold? because while they are printing money, why would they do that? You can dive in. So there's something happening with gold. Europe, Germany, 54 tons of gold less. Now Hungary is not. Hungary is in Europe, I would say. But Hungary is 91 tons plus. India, BRICS, B-R-Y-I. The I is India. 264 tons of gold bought. International Monetary Fund is dumping gold 167. So here Iraq 139. So what you see is the picture that basically all those countries outside Europe, developing countries, Japan bought, Jordan bought, Kazakhstan bought, Korea bought, Kyrgyzstan bought, Mexico bought, even in Latin America, they are buying. Poland, Qatar, Russia, buying massively. Okay? Of course, Russia saw it coming that if Russia had a war, then all their monies would be basically frozen. So Russia saw it coming. Serbia, Singapore. So this tells me Thailand, Turkey, United Arab Emirates. This is interesting. United Arab Emirates. Saudi Arabia. What is Saudi Arabia doing? Saudi Arabia. I don't see Saudi Arabia. Yes, I see Saudi Arabia not doing anything. Yet. You see? But United Arab Emirates going in deep, buying gold. So this tells you, my friend, that something is happening. Okay? Something is happening. So you could dive deeper, get that spreadsheet yourself, logging in the gold side. So I'm going to finish now. I'm going to finish because I talked a lot, 2 hours, but I'm going long. If you don't want to stay, you just stop. But if you stay, you had value. I'm sure you had value for your corporation today. Okay, you have value because you are the one creating wealth for your corporation. If you want to join my community for free, join the VIP launch. Put your name and your email in that form. Click join bit.ly/island wealth. Then below this episode you will find other opportunities. If there is an opportunity, there will be another link. So click this link first, put your name, email in there, and then for every other opportunity I will put a link in there. The opportunity will mean you will just raise your hand that you want to be informed about when this opportunity, this experience opens and closes. When my opportunities, my experiences, my training opportunities, my strategic opportunities, I create a lot, and when they are open, it's like Monday they open, you can apply, and then Friday they close. Before that, 1 week, I will just mention the people in the VIP launch. I will mention them that this thing is going to open, and I will have like a free experience explaining the benefits, explaining what it can mean. For instance, the Island Wealth Investment Academy, 3 days, is the fastest way to get to become an investor. It's for educational purposes only, but we will be practicing with real numbers, with your numbers, things that you are interested in. We have all the countries in the world, all the stocks in the world, and I'm not going to give you any advice, but if you are thinking about anything, you bring your project, you bring your countries, and you do it. This is for specifically the 8 Eastern Caribbean islands in the in Eastern Caribbean, Turks and Caicos, Jamaica, and Curacao. If you are on one of those 11 islands, or you are interested, we will be making cases. Who's earning money? What are the public companies making money in those regions? And if you are living there, what can you do on real estate, on Bitcoin, on equities, building your wealth? Okay, 3 days. Then we have the Python Island Wealth Management, launching probably in January, half of January, and that is an opportunity of 8 weeks, the fastest way to automate your life and automate the boring stuff, and also be able to have a team of artificial intelligence agents that work for you 24/7. Those are opportunities. But if you join, if you click below and you raise your hand, you want to hear more, then you will be the first one to be hearing, and then I will open that experience, tell you everything, more details, and then open the door, close the door. Often there is only 50 seats possibility. This is being broadcasted to the world. There are 8 billion people in the world. Maybe there are about 3 billion between 18 and 65, and there are only 50 spots. You understand? So the spots are going very fast. So this is the way how you can join the VIP launch, get more to know about the story from poverty to wealth, from wealth accumulation. I don't want you to become poor. I don't want you to stay poor. I don't want you, when things shift, that you are becoming poor. I want your corporation to become wealthy, and that's why I'm sharing this information of my precious time. I'm sharing with you. Okay, we are going out, and then tell me below, what do you think of this nice first intro that I have created, the countdown? Do you like it? Is this the island wealth that you're enjoying, that you want to live? Okay, I'm going to show you again. Till next time, and give me your comments below. Wherever you are, do good, do something good for somebody else. I learned that from Gary Cardone, so I'm also broadcasting that. Gary, thanks for spreading the word and spreading the great work. I am just trying to do my best to also dive in and come in every day right now for 3 days in a row, maybe 4 days in a row. So ask me below. Ask me whatever questions, and if you have any questions, I will just answer your questions. Thank you very much, and we go to the island wealth. I'm giving you the countdown.